Hello, hello. Welcome to the Kinda Unamused podcast. I am your one and only host. Sometimes I do have heaven, so I guess not always the one and only, but today I'm your one and only host, Madeline Perrott, but you can call me Maddie because that's what my friends call me, and you are now my friend. I have not used that intro in a while, so I figured I should do that now since we're doing a one-on-one today. It's been a couple episodes since we've just sat here together, chit-chatting, or me talking to myself, because I do that very often regardless. So since I have some time, figured might as well. I really should be reading, how many chapters? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have to read 7 chapters of a book today, and I just really don't want to. We have class tomorrow. I'm taking a Jane Austen class, okay? I needed to take an extra class to get to the right amount of credits to graduate. And it was either taking that or taking, so it was either taking that or taking some other sort of literature class. I'm pretty sure I have to take it for my depth and discovery, which is like a certain group of classes that don't have anything to do with my major, which is painting. I could be wrong about that. I actually really don't remember. I just know I needed to take a fun, like a little extra class. I've never read any Jane Austen book. I've always been curious in reading like Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility. I've watched the movie Emma, and I do enjoy the time period. I love Bridgerton. I've talked about that in the past here. I do like period pieces, specifically movies. But I've read Little Women. It's kind of around that time frame. So I was like, this could be fun. Actually, I'm gonna unbutton my pants because, although they're too big on me, whenever I sit down, they become really tight in my stomach area, and no thank you. But yeah, so I'm getting sidetracked. So I have to take this class, and we're reading 4 out of her Jane Austen 6 famous books. We're reading Northanger Abbey, we're reading Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma. Right now we're reading Northanger Abbey, and it's not it's a really big book. It's about this size. This is Sense and Sensibility, but I think it's a little thinner than this one. But my teacher wants us to pretty much read it in 2 weeks. And we've talked about this before. If you remember correctly, I am a very slow reader. Last episode, I was talking about how I only read about 4 books for the entire year, which was an improvement for me. I'm trying to read more. That's kind of why I took this class. However, I did not think that we would be reading books so fast. I have to read 7 chapters within a 2-day period to understand what's going on in my next class. So I'm also listening to the audiobook to try and stay on track, even though the audiobook that I found is on Spotify. And I swear to God, I think it's made by AI because it's bad. It's so bad. It feels like a really long run-on sentence. Barely, there's no emotion. It's just kind of and then Catherine went to the gig and was talking about Isabella and Mr. Thorpe and da-da-da. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to freaking die. But then again, I don't want to buy it because I already have the book. I also do not want to be spending my money on a book that I'm not even going to keep. If I'm going to buy a book, it's going to be a physical, tangible book. I hate buying things online. I will not buy digital albums. I don't like buying music to keep on my phone. I don't like buying movies on my Amazon because I'm afraid that if the internet goes away, if social media goes away, if Amazon just disappears, that all that money that I spent on the movies or on the music is just gonna go away. But if I buy an actual book or an actual DVD, then I can keep that and I can transfer it to the other thing that will play it, or I could read it physically. Anyway, so all that to say, I should be doing something else right now. But why would I do that? I have the rest of the day. It's only 2 p.m. Can I do it realistically? Probably not. But I'm be positive. I'm going to get it done. I will do my best in this class. However, I also have my senior project it's going to be a busy semester. So I really hope that I can keep, like, stay on track with this class because I'm taking 4 other classes with it. Well, technically, it's more like 3 because one of the classes is like, it's not really a class. It's like a 1 credit class that it only meets up at the end of the semester. So I'm technically really only taking 4 classes, but nevertheless, it's still a lot of work. I don't have a whole lot to do right now besides the reading because my teacher, my main teacher, I have 2 classes with him. He's been sick. So he had to cancel his last 2 classes, which was yesterday morning and this morning. So I didn't have any classes today. I took Heaven to school and I doodled. I should have been reading, but I doodled because I just don't have anything to do right now. I don't have any assignments besides the Jane Austen class. So I'm kind of just like enjoying this free time until I'm really going to be like attacking it. And I'm also taking oil painting class, which is, it's terrifying for me because, well, not super terrifying. It's just like kind of daunting, I guess is a better word, because the last time I took oil painting, or no, like even touched oil painting, was in my junior year of high school. So that was like 5 years ago. And yesterday was the first day that we actually like started using it. And mind you, I'm the only person doing oil painting. Everyone else is doing acrylic. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. It was just something that I had to do to graduate, and my teacher was willing to teach me oil painting on top of teaching everyone else acrylic. I'm doing the same assignments as them. It's just I'm doing it in a different medium. Anyway, first time I did it yesterday. This is how it turned out. This is the underpainting of the painting that we're doing. We're doing a still life. I don't like it. No, I think that so far I'm doing pretty good, but actually like painting it so far is just not my favorite. We're also using Bristol brushes. I'm used to synthetic hair brushes, which is like those really soft brushes. These are like the harder hair brushes. Not my favorite. They leave streaks in it. It's just, I don't like it, but I have to use it. So, we're just going to learn. Hopefully, I'm going to learn a lot in this class. That's the goal, because I am planning on going to grad school after this. I've been applying to some schools in New York, so I'm about to be like an official adult and I'm terrified. There's a high chance I'm going to be living in New York for the next 2 years by myself while my family lives in Texas, which is daunting. Again, like, I love my family, but I don't want to live with my family anymore. Not because I don't love them, not because I don't appreciate them, not because I don't think, it would benefit me in a positive way. It's just, I am so used to being by myself now. It's been about 4 years-ish, a little less than 4 years, where I've been primarily by myself, living my own life. And I feel there's part of me that's like scared to revert back to living with my family for a long period of time, because it just feels like a step back. Like I know I'm not the only person that feels this way, but unfortunately, especially with who the president is right now, living by myself financially does not seem to really be possible. So I don't really know what to do. That's why I think that I'm gonna have to, if I want to be by myself, not with my parents for the next 2 to 3 years, which, dear God, I really hope that's not the case. I'm gonna have to go to grad school, which will put me in a lot of debt, but I do think that it'll benefit me down the line, because I'm thinking about eventually becoming a college professor, or just being like an art teacher at a high school. I've also kind of dabbled along the idea of owning my own business, which is just a like teaching art business type vibe, like art classes, private type thing. So having, more degrees to make me more, I'm blanking on the word right now, but credible, make me more credible having a bachelor's and a master's in art will make people think that I actually know what I'm doing. And I also think that if I wanted to be a teacher, an art teacher, I need to get my master's, because although I have been doing art my entire life, I am still learning quite a bit. And I mean, if you've seen my art from freshman year to now, I've made a really big improvement, but I don't think I'm at the position to be able to teach other people. I've never tried it before, so I can't really say that I'm incapable of doing it. But I feel like I would be more secure in my abilities if I had another 2 years of learning and being really secure in my own education. So, all that to say, 2025 is going to be a year of change for me. And sorry about my voice. I'm getting off a cold. I have been for the past 2 weeks. And for some reason, my voice has been very what's the right word? Hoarse. I'm still cough occasionally. I don't feel sick. I'm not sick. I just have a lingering cough, and my voice is very hoarse and becomes very hoarse as the day goes on. So I apologize for my raspy voice, my sickly raspy voice, even though I'm not sick. Yeah, 2025 is the year of change for me, and I am terrified. I'm actually terrified. It's not even daunting. I am terrified because a lot of things are going to change for the better. Hopefully. But no one talks about how scary it is to graduate college, getting your bachelor's, graduating, and being like, what the heck am I gonna do now? Because all I've been doing my entire life has been going to school. I feel like there's nothing else that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go to school, come home, do homework, start over again, maybe work on the weekends or hang out with my friends on the weekends. Not having school after you graduate is something that I just never thought about whenever I was younger. You're going to have to face that. And when people say that college goes by fast, they were very right. Part of me feels like I've been in college for years, and the other part of me feels like, I mean, it has been years, but such a long time. And the other part of me feels like I just started. So how the heck am I graduating in May? Whew, it is weird feeling old, you know? I look at myself and I'm like, wow, you're definitely aged. You're old now. Older. I'm not old. And I also think that I'm way too young to do anything. I'm way too young to have a 9-to-5. I'm way too young to be having degrees. I'm way too young to potentially getting married in a couple years and having kids. What? No, you cannot. I'm afraid. Well, on that topic, I've always thought that I would immediately getting out of college, get married, and then a couple years later have kids, in my late 20s. I'm 21. I'm about to turn 22. It's coming up very fast. It's in less than a month at this point. I'm getting towards my mid-20s in the next couple of years, and I really hope that I'm not in that position. Not to say that if the opportunity came to me that I would completely shut it down, but I also don't want to get too ahead of myself. You know, I see these people, and there's people that I follow that are in their early 30s or mid to early 30s, and they're just now getting potentially, married. They don't have kids, and it's more normal now than it was whenever I was young. Whenever I was young, I was going based off of what my parents did. My parents got married at the age of 24, and they had me at the age of 25. And then they just went on with my sisters as time went on. So, I always envisioned my life to be that way. Being 24 is in 2 years for me. And part of me also thinks that getting married and having kids, but really just getting married, because that's the first thing for me. I don't want to have a kid unless I'm married. Obviously, if a situation arises and that doesn't end up happening, I won't be traumatized, hopefully. If I have to be a single mom, whatever. I don't have to be married to have kids. Ideally, for me in my life, that's what I want. I want to get married first, wait a couple years, and then have kids. But even the thought of getting married in the next 2 years is daunting, as that's the word of this podcast. Daunting. I know that getting married, it doesn't change a whole lot in your life. It can change your financials. It changes some like legal things, but whenever it comes to like your everyday life, it doesn't change a whole lot unless it changes like your family situation. But it's like a position, a stage in life that I just am not mentally prepared for, I don't think. But I don't know. My mind might change in the next year. But as of right now, like while I'm in college trying to get my degree, it just doesn't sound nice. It sounds like a whole other hurdle I have to jump through when I'm already trying to figure out, where I'm going to live, if I'm going to get my master's degree, where I'm going to work, like those things are a big decision to make. And obviously, like, you can change your mind later on in life. Like, if you decide that the degree or the work that you chose isn't for you, you can go along a different path and figure out a different way of living and making a living and whatever. Like, I know that whatever decision I make after college, it'll set me in a certain path, but it's not going to be the only path, if that makes any sense. Like, if I decide to change my mind, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'll figure it out from there. But it's like the settings, the setting stones. I'm setting up my pathway to my future, and it's scary. It's also scary because I have people, a handful of people, depending on me to make decisions. And it's hard to put myself first. Like, I want to be close to my family. I want to have a close-knit relationship with my family. But I also love my life here and the people that I've, made relationships with here. And I don't want to leave them because I've had traumatic friendship situations happen in the past. So I don't want to get rid of my solid relationships that I have here. I don't like the choosing the one thing over the other. Like, if I could just, compact everyone together and just stuff them in my pocket and carry them around with me, that's what I would choose. But that's not realistic. So it's, having the weight. Like, obviously, I'm so grateful that I have people in my life that love me and care about me enough to want me to be with them all the time. It's a blessing. And I beat myself up about it a lot because I feel really guilty about feeling constrained to some degree. Like, I feel like I'm ungrateful. And I don't mean to be ungrateful because I know there's so many people out there that don't have family, that don't have friends, that don't have the opportunities that I have. And it's unfair of me to think certain things and say certain things or whatever, but at the same time, it's what's happening in my life right now. And it's confusing and it's hard, Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's hard to have people depend on you, but also try to do what's best for yourself. Like, as a people pleaser, I want to do what's best for everyone else. But I know that at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for myself. Because if I don't take care of myself first, then I can't take care of others. It's like whenever you go onto an airplane and, they do the whole like spiel about safety and if an emergency happens, do this, that, and the next thing. You have to put the mask on yourself before you put the mask on others, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to pass out and you can't help other people, the people that are depending on you. So, yeah, that's kind of how I look at things. Sometimes I know that I do put myself over others in times where I probably should be putting people above myself. I have been selfish. I have made mistakes, and I'm really trying to grow from those mistakes and, better myself while also simultaneously taking care of myself. If that makes any sense. Anyway, this episode was not supposed to be like deep, but I guess since I'm already going on this route, might as well. Another thing that I've been like kind of struggling with recently has been friendships to some degree. Recently, I have made some friends here at my college, and I'm so grateful for that. I feel like I'm in a sense of normality. Like, things feel normal now. Heaven has been my rock for 2 years. We've gone through a lot together. She's my person. But, not but. There's no but in that. Like, that's the way that it is. But, I've had my friendships from my high school situation, my high school life kind of crumpling up and like being thrown to the side or, being torn up a bit. And it's really hard. Like, I know that people talk about all the time that your high school friendships, they don't last. People say that all the time. I always thought that wasn't going to be the case for me. But as of this moment in time, I really only talk to 2 people from my high school. It's just like the lack of communication is really hard. And I'm not saying that like for me personally, this happens to so many people, okay? This happens to everyone for the most part. I've been struggling with it a little bit recently. It's very detailed and dramatic and stupid and whatever. Like, I know people talk about it all the time, but the struggle of dealing with high school or childhood friendships like fizzling out is really difficult because that like you think about the friendship that you had with this person for years, all throughout high school or longer than that. So like, that your friendship is this one way. For me personally, and not to like put all my drama out there, and I'm not going to get into the details of it, but once you go to college and say you don't go to college together, you grow up, and growing up apart from each other and becoming different people. The weather outside is nasty right now. It's windy and it's snowing, I guess. I can't really tell if it's snowing or if it's the snow that is coming off of the roofs and like floor kind of being swooped back up into the air. But it's gross. I don't like it at all. I hate wind. Wind is the worst. It makes things 10 times colder in the winter, at least. Wind during the summer, can be good sometimes, but wind just in general is just horrific and disgusting and makes things bad. Like, makes your apartment drafty and makes your hair go all crazy. And like, it's 33 degrees outside today, but it feels like 15 because of the wind. Like, what the heck is that? Like, that should be illegal. Anyway, whenever you grow up apart from each other, but you're still trying to be friends, it's so difficult because whenever you come together to meet up and hang out, you expect different things from each other. Sometimes some people are like, well, you were this way 4 years ago, so why are you not that way now? Because I freaking grew up, Like, not even because I grew up, because I've gone through things that have changed my expectations, my perspectives, the way that I go about things. Like, for me, whenever I was in high school, I still kind of am a pushover. I've always hated that word because I know that I am that way. And it's embarrassing for me to say that I'm a pushover or be told that I'm a pushover. But throughout high school, that really was how I was. Like, it was intense. Like, I was the definition of a pushover. So I pretty much just I just followed the leader. I was always the best friend. I was never this person, oh, and that's her best friend. I was the best friend. I just followed the leader. And I was perfectly content with that. I still am to this day, to a degree. Like, I don't like standing out, really. I like to just kind of be in my own little self, being cozy, comfy, maintaining a little bit of attention, but nothing crazy. Like, I like to follow the leader. So, like, say whenever we went out to dinner or we went to go do activities, or whenever it came to spending nights at people's houses or whatever, I would just be like, yeah, whatever you want to do. Whatever. It's fine. Now, I have more of an opinion. Like, oh, well, actually, I don't really feel comfortable doing that, or I don't like that type of food, or, whatever. Whatever it may be. Those were just random examples. I have more of an opinion. And whenever you meet up with these people from your past, at least in my experience, they expect you to be the way that you are whenever they last saw you. during the like year and a half that you didn't see me, you know, I went through an eating disorder. I went through depression, or, you know, there's a long list of things that could potentially happen. I kind of went through those two things. I went through the struggle of moving. I went through the struggle of friendship, you know, drama, relationship drama, whatever it may be. Like, you weren't there to experience that with me. So I don't blame you for not knowing that this is how I am now. But you can't tell me that this is what we're going to do and me be like, okay with it. I find myself whenever I'm like with these people from my past, and it's friendship and family alike. Like, I haven't been with my family a whole lot. Like I have been, but I haven't been. And there are things about myself now where I will talk back. I've never talked back, but I will say no. Now, not all the time. Not all the time. But sometimes, more than I used to. I'm more blunt. I will say no. I will say my opinion, and I'll get teary because I don't like, you know, confrontation. I don't like being more aggressive. So I'll be all teary and I'll be kind of like, you know, like whimpery or whatever, but I will say my opinion, or I will raise my voice, and people are really taken aback by that and be like, you've changed. Okay, and like, isn't that a good thing? Like, you guys were always telling me that I was a pushover, but now that I'm a little bit more blunt in whenever I say certain things, or I put myself first, you get upset with me. Like a situation that I had whenever I last went down to my childhood town was, you know, I went to go see my friends, and my friends, if you're listening, this is just kind of how it is. Went to go see my friends. And in the past, because I've been gone from them for almost 5 years at this point, or 4 to 5 years, kind of like in between that time, I would always just be pawning, like texting them constantly, trying to plan something, trying to come up with things for us to do, just really just like scratching for their attention, like really just come pay attention to me, like do something with me, like now, like I'm gonna text you constantly, I'm gonna, like, I was that way. I still am to some degree, but I have just given up. If you do not want to put your time towards me, I'm not going to be pawning for your attention. So if I say, you know, like, oh yeah, we should hang out, they're like, yeah, well, I have work, or I have previous plans, whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, just let me know when you're available. Like, let me know when you're available, because I also have the things that I need to do. We can, you know, conflab together, figure it out as adults do, and together, and then, you know, we can go from there. This past experience, this past time, I went and I didn't pawn for their attention. I barely told them that I was coming, because we rarely text in general, but I did. And I was like, let me know if you guys are available. I was there for 2 weeks. You know, 2 weeks is a good amount of time to at least see each other once. So they're like, oh yeah, you know, we should definitely hang out. We'll figure it out. I'm like, perfect. Okay, just let me know. I get there. The only time that we did hang out was whenever they called me. It was like, we're going to go do this tonight. And I was like, whoa, actually, I have plans tonight. Like, you never texted me, you know, beforehand asking if I can. You just texted me telling me that this is what we're going to do. I can't. I have plans. I'm going to go see my little sister perform. Like, I'm not going to miss that. Excuse me. So they're all disappointed, like, what? You can't figure it out? Like, I mean, I'll try. It's just going to be a late dinner, or a late whatever the heck we're doing. Okay, yeah, just let me know. So I do. You know, I let them know. We figured it out. Whatever, we go to do this thing, and it was, you know, fine. We caught up, whatever. Afterwards, I'm like, yeah, we should definitely hang out again before I leave, because we should do around Christmas time, a gift exchange. We should do a gift exchange. We agreed on doing one. I have your guys' gifts. let's do a gift exchange before I leave. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know when we can do it because I have work or I have plans with whomever. Okay, yeah, just let me know. Days go by, nothing. Okay. I like text respond being like, so, are we still wanting to do that gift exchange? Like, I have the gifts. Texting about the gifts. Just let me know. Nothing. So I leave. Don't see them again. I leave. Then I text saying, I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't do the gift exchange. You know, I spent a decent amount of money on it and time. We didn't do the gift exchange. I ended up keeping the gifts. Oh, well, it didn't seem like you wanted to hang out with us. Huh? What? I didn't text them every single day asking them, because I mean, I did have other plans. I was hanging out with my family that I haven't seen in months. But I did text them asking them, you know, it's just like that type of thing. Like, okay, so since I wasn't texting you all the time, that means that I don't want to hang out with you? Because I told you I can't today means that I don't want to hang out with you? No, it's because I actually have plans with my family. I can't go to Christmas Eve with you because I'm here with my family. You know what I'm saying? You catch what I'm putting down. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. You know, the difficulties of high school friendships and growing apart, or being apart, growing up without each other, and then coming back together to try and figure out each other's lives is really difficult and frustrating. Please let me know I'm not the only one that thinks this way. All that to say is I'm with everyone on saying that high school friendships after high school is really difficult to maintain. Things change, opinions change, the way that we are changes, and you look back at your friendship and you're like, well, we were this way. We should still be this way. Why are we not this way anymore? It's hard to revert to a different relationship. You know, you don't want to, like, especially since there's nothing, like, bad necessarily. I mean, nothing super bad happening amongst each other. You're like, I don't want to grow apart because I love them so much. Like, we've been through so much together, but we're so different than we used to be. And, like, you're, like, in this, like, toss and turn of should we stay friends or should we not? Just struggle through it, you know? Struggle through it. We'll figure it out eventually. Maybe. That is not what I was going to talk about at all today, but might as well just, you know, what's it called? This is like a therapy session today. I don't need a therapist. I just need to talk to you guys, you know? Does anyone else feel this way? I would love to be giving y'all guys, you guys advice. But, like, at the same time, it's like, should I be giving out advice because my life is this way? I don't know. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. recently because I get in phases of just, like, wanting to listen to people talk rather than listening to music. And that's the phase that I'm currently in right now. It's, like, off and on for me, but I've been listening to unsolicited advice podcasts. If you need advice, you can ask me. You are totally welcome to, and I would love it with all my heart. But if you specifically like relationship advice, go there. I don't necessarily need relationship advice that much. However, the stories that they have are so interesting, and the advice that they have, even if it's not relationships, it could be personal advice, whatever it is. It ranges for them. They're so good. Their friendship together is so pleasing. I really look up to them in a lot of ways. I totally recommend listening to them for, like, advice, kind of like a therapy session, low key. They're going to tell you to actually go get a therapist. But why do I need a therapist whenever I can just listen to you guys, you know? That's my mentality. But I listen to them mainly. I also listen to, what's it called? The Moments podcast. She also does advice. I'm totally blanking on her name right now. I'll put it on the screen. It's also kind of like a therapy advice type vibe. It's a little bit lower quality. It's kind of like this one. Like our podcast. It's kind of like that. But she's pretty good at it too. So, I don't know. I feel like I just need like advice. I need some therapy sessions without the therapy part, without having to tell my personal life story to a random stranger. I'm not against therapy. I think therapy is so good for so many people. Is it good for me though? Do I think therapy is good for everyone? Maybe not. I don't know. I've never had therapy. I've always been the therapist friend. So, but I feel like I'm pretty good at being able to write down my thoughts and being able to kind of comprehend what's going on in my life without questioning it and knowing what I need to do and what I need not to do. Like, I feel like I'm pretty good at that. I don't know. I'm pretty well tempered. Pretty well. Like, obviously, I'm a little messed up. But is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. I wanted to talk about the Bailey, what are their names? Brooklyn and Bailey pregnancy drama that was happening, but I don't really have time to talk about that. It was kind of crazy and stupid, and it wasn't crazy at all. And there was this whole drama with this like TikTok lady that guesses famous people's babies' names, and she was being really brutal in her video for them, and I watched it and it honestly pissed me off. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing that? Like, Brooklyn and Bailey are so, I mean, sure, they have little problems here and there, like every person in the world. It was brutal for no reason. You could watch the video. Her name's M Doodles and stuff. It's her video. She has like 3 to 4 videos about the Brooklyn baby, her name guessing, and it was a whole thing. It was stupid. It was annoying. She did eventually get the baby's name right in her like 2nd or 3rd round of guessing. She guessed like 30 names and she did get one of them right eventually. But it was stupid. Like, why are you being so brutal on these 20-year-old girls who were raised on YouTube? Like, it's not their fault that their mom raised them on YouTube and they decided that they want to do the same thing. I don't know. They're not doing anything crazy, so you can calm down and not be as mean to them because they don't necessarily deserve it. Like, I can think of plenty of people that deserve that type of behavior, but they are not one of them. So, anyway. So, yeah. Maybe I should stop this now before I continue to go on. I need to read those chapters. Got 7 chapters to go. Yes! Do you guys believe in me? I believe in me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. The next episode will be with Heaven. We're going to be talking about some things that we've talked about in the past. Grammys are coming up. You know how we feel about those. Yeah. If you want to ask for advice, like I mentioned earlier, you can email me at kindaunamused@yahoo.com, or you can DM me at madrosepie on Instagram. My socials are madrosepie on Instagram and TikTok. I have Pinterest. That's a dandelion days. I also have a personal Pinterest that is Mad Rose Pie. Are you surprised? Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!